And what form of justice did your provisional government use to try Mr. Scott?
It was a traditional Métis trial, one that we used when laws were broken during the buffalo hunt.
What were the sorts of things someone could be put on trial for?
Well, typically, it was for things such as stealing or endangering the lives of others during the hunt.
And what was the punishment for the most serious of crimes?
Well, they could have some possessions taken away from them, or they could even be flogged.
Would you please tell this court how many Métis were executed for their crimes?
None, to my knowledge.
I see. And Major Bolton, who led the Canadians you'd arrested, was also tried by this court and found guilty, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
And what was his sentence?
He was also sentenced to death.
But he was later pardoned. Is that correct?
Yes.
So the man who led the troops against the provisional government was pardoned, but Scott, a mere foot soldier, wasn't. Why was Thomas Scott deemed such a threat?
We received assurances from Mr. Smith in regards to Major Bolton, but we could also see that Scott would remain a problem.
But Thomas Scott was in chains, locked in a prison cell. How much of a threat could he have really been?
He was influencing the other prisoners, and his behavior was a threat to the provisional government.
His behavior?
Yes, it was a problem.
Isn't it true, sir, that his execution had absolutely nothing to do with his behavior? Your Honor, I have here a sworn statement from Reverend George Young, who met with the accused to plead for Scott's life. According to Reverend Young, Mr. Riel told him, Scott is a very bad man and has insulted my guards and has hindered some from making peace. So I must make an example to impress others and lead them to respect my government. And we'll take him first, and then, if necessary, others will follow. Then, in a letter to Mr. L.R. Masson, you said the execution was necessary to intimidate the conspirators. Mr. Riel, do you still insist on telling this court that Thomas Scott was executed because of his behavior? Your Honor, please instruct the witness to answer the question.
Mr. Riel, how do you respond to the Crown's question?
Thomas Scott was tried because he refused to obey the orders of the provisional government. However, it was not lost on me that his trial would show the Canadians in the settlement and in Ottawa that we were serious and they needed to respect us. But first and foremost, monsieur, it was for his crimes that he was tried.
But the evidence of Reverend Young and Mr. Masson suggest otherwise. It seems that Thomas Scott was not the criminal, sir. He was the victim. No more questions.
It wasn't as simple as that. You had to be there to understand.
Your Honor, I request a short recess to confer with my client.
Very well.